Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast. My name is Adam Cohn. I am your host. And it's a little late edition here at the podcast. Dan and I have had some stuff going on tonight, but we're here back for day 2 of the Blast Premier Spring Final. It is another 4-game slate. My buddy Dan is here, our co-host. Fearless co-leader, Dan, who is very excited. Apparently he thinks he's going to IEM Rio in person. Dan, what's happening?
I don't think we are. I think we're definitely going.
I mean, you're paying.
Well, I gotta win one of these 10K 333s.
There you go. Well, it is a 4-game slate, and unfortunately, we have only $3,000 to first. But you know what? That's still $3,000 more than we all had entering in with. So it's an extra $3K up top to first place here in the large GPP on Draftkings. And as always, we'll go over prize picks at the end of the podcast. Dan's confident he's going to win that $3K and send both of us to Rio. Right, Dan?
Yep.
Excellent.
Well, no, I need 10K. I need to win a few of those.
Don't be greedy. 3's a great start. All right. Well, we have a big slate to get into. We're going to try keeping this under a half-hour podcast. A lot of these games here are very interesting. The games on this slate are Team Vitality versus Pain Gaming, G2 versus FaZe, Big versus Na'Vi, and Ents versus OG. We had some good calls yesterday. We had some bad calls. May just owes us some money. Owes me some money. As I pull up our Pinnacle Medical odds here, we can head over. If you head over here, you go to Pinnacle Esports. You go over to Leagues, and you click on Blast Premier. So again, you go back here, Leagues. So like we got right now Blast in the Challenger Leagues. We want Blast Premier. And so here are our betting odds, Dan. We got Pain as a plus 581 underdog. Vitality is a minus 850 favorite. FaZe is a minus 188 favorite against G2 as a plus 153 underdog. Na'Vi coming in as the favorite versus Big. No surprise there. A minus 212 favorite versus Big. Big coming in at plus 171. And Ents coming in as a minus 311 favorite versus OG. OG a plus 244 underdog. With the way Ents were looking today, I think OG can knock off Ents. We will get there in time. Dan, anything we want to get into here before we just hop right into the slate?
You know, there's a great song by Bob Dylan, The Times Are A-Changin'. I wish I could play it for everybody. That's how I feel right now because Vitality is not what they used to be, and it's sad. And I would even say Na'Vi is, well, obviously they're not what they used to be because Boomich is on the bench and Simple wants to quit. So
I didn't say that, Simple. I didn't say you want to quit, sir. He said it, his words, not mine.
Anyways, it's sad for us young freshmen. We're now in like our junior year of Counter-Strike, DFS, and you know, it just feels.
Well, you know, things change. I mean, we had the iconic and legendary Fnatic roster of the early 2010s. We had the legendary NiP roster of the early 2010s, and then it was the Astralis dominance for 3 majors in a row. And then you had the emergence of teams like Na'Vi, the emergence of this kid Zywoo, this prodigy. And you had Nico, who's been running around still chasing a major like this. You know, things change, right? Like my boys Heroic came out of absolutely nowhere in 2020. Played their way through that July summer and then take second place in DreamHack summer and then take first place in what was ESL Cologne 2020. Like, again, you have some of these teams coming out of nowhere. Like, we had Gambit coming out of nowhere, slowly build themselves up, now known as Cloud9. Like, teams change. They're adapting to win majors, and, you know, FaZe right now seem like the force to continue to win a major. By no means, and we saw at IEM Dallas, they are not unstoppable. So I think this is going to be some more fun Counter-Strike coming up than we've seen so far. I think the IEM Rio Major is going to be an absolute blast. No pun intended, considering we're talking about blast.
It is. You know, there's some beautiful women in Brazil, too, there, Adam. I mean, I'm married,
True,
so
but
not that. No, I would.
yeah, I was gonna say, Dan, you and I are happily married. Wait a minute.
Doesn't mean you can't look.
Oh boy. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get started on this for our first 4 game slate here. We're gonna start with Team Vitality versus Pain because I really don't want to get in trouble, or Dan want to get in trouble. So Team
Yes.
Vitality versus Pain. Dan, the most lopsided game on this slate. We kind of talked about it yesterday about making a decision. How much phase are we playing? Are we fading phase? Are we going 3? Are we going 2? Are we going 1? Like it was just a matter of what you landed on.
Right.
Um, I ended up entering a couple lineups. One had 2 phase. I went with Rain and Brokey, and
Nice.
Brokey had 90 points.
Yeah.
And you know who captained that lineup? Magisk.
So, oh
Magisk.
no. Yeah, it was a good. It was a good play. He was like 2% owned. I mean,
If Magisk broke the slate, I win a lot of money.
yeah, it was. It was a right play. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean from a GPP standpoint, from a ceiling standpoint, we've seen Magisk break slates before. And after one map versus G2 yesterday, well, Team Vitality looked in really good freaking shape heading into Inferno. And then
yeah,
G2 come back with the reverse sweep. So I don't know what happened to Team Vitality, but I still think it was the right play from a GPP standpoint, right? Like it was the right play in my opinion. For again, low owned play, he wasn't that highly owned, and if he does anything of note, I probably at least cash because I also had on that lap not only 2 phase, I had 2 OG. Oh, and Dexter was on that lineup.
yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That wasn't the OG lineup. That was the 2 Ents, and one of them was fighting with Spinks and Deha.
Guess what actually was the optimal lineup that wasn't
I'm
even played.
curious, what was the optimal lineup? I
It was
didn't look. What was the optimal lineup?
it's a 3-3. It's Brokey captain, Rain, and Kerrigan.
I kind of figured with Brokey's 90, that probably broke the slate.
And then I think it Nico, Monesi, and Jax. Nico, Monesi, yeah,
Yeah,
Jax.
Jax had a massive map, so I can see Jax with that low price tag. Mondesi was what, and Nico again. Just it
No
is
one
what it
played it though.
is.
It was unplayed because no one played Kerrigan. But who would? I mean, the winning lineup actually had
What was the
Hades.
winning lineup in the 5K to first tournament yesterday?
What I just said, except instead of Kerrigan, insert Hades because you could afford it.
Oh, I said right, and Hades had a big second map.
Yeah, but he only scored 61 and Kerrigan had 62. It's just funny that we're like, you
I
know,
mean, it's semantics at that point, but
yeah.
I'm surprised Spinks wasn't in that lab. Spinks was doing really good too. I'm honestly surprised Dexter wasn't in that lineup.
Wait, actually, could he have outscored this? I didn't even
Dexter
look
was
to see it.
really good on yesterday's slate. Anyway, we can get into that another time. We got a big 4 game slate here, and folks, we're filling time.
Oh,
Play Vitality, don't play Pain. Did I miss anything in my analysis?
oh, I'm sorry. I actually the optimal was with Madden, not Kerrigan, because
Interesting.
you could afford Kerrigan. Anyways, okay. So, what was your question?
Oh, I just said that there's really no analysis here, and we're just filling time. All of, all of Team Vitality are in play. Fade Pain Gaming. Anything else?
Um, I mean, I think you could probably like.
If you're mass multi-entering, okay. Play the big 3 from Pain. Big Zera, Nithon, and Hard Zio. I'm not playing Neeks or PKL. So
Yeah,
you can play those 3 if you're mass multi-entering. If you're mass multi-entering again, all 5 Team Vitality, with the exception of Masuda probably being way lower
dude,
owned.
Masuda was on fire
Well, I
on
think
Dusty long game.
Team Vitality are in trouble from a team standpoint. Well, in
Yeah,
my opinion, that team should have never lost today. I don't know what happened. I don't know if someone was getting frustrated or whatnot, but that was,
yeah. Apex was.
I don't get it.
Games.
I wonder how much the comms are having an issue.
No, it's got to be a huge issue.
But yeah,
Still,
Zywoo firmly in play. He's expensive today, though. Thank you, DraftKings, for listening to my freaking rant yesterday. Freaking 10,400 today. About, part of my language, about fucking time. Never want to see Zyro under 8,000 again. The fuck was wrong with that slate?
Oh shit! I want to say one thing. I think that
What the fuck do you want to say, Dan?
you are in a mood. Probably gonna get Nuke and Inferno. So not super high ceiling maps for Mr. Zywoo either, but
No, I could see this maybe being a Dupree day, but I mean, like, Zywoo's 10,400, the opera for Team Vitality, Magisk is 9,400, Dupree is 8,200, Apex, the IGL for Team Vitality, is 7,200, and Masuda is 6,400. You're not getting a discount on any of these guys, and I don't think this is like FaZe, who we know FaZe is dominant. I think Team Vitality could struggle.
I do too.
Not like they're gonna lose kind of struggle, but like don't expect this to be the same Pain Gaming that used the same FaZe used, like stats you saw from FaZe versus Pain. I don't think you could expect that outside of Zywoo, and maybe a ceiling out of Dupree
or Magisk.
Yeah, and then I'll just go, one day too early.
Yep. I mean, it's probably worth going back to him because he's going to be super low owned. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Let's just move on.
Got it. Moving on. Anyone from Pain you're interested in besides the big three?
No.
Let's get into what's going to be the clash of the freaking day. Yeah. Why is it at 7 a.m.?
8 a.m.
Well, 7 a.m. Eastern. Oh, right, 8 a.m. Sorry. Draftkings has it at 7. 8 a.m. Excellent. We have G2 Esports versus FaZe Clan. Oh, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Allow me to get back to the swearing for a second, and I apologize to all the listeners out there. DraftKings, why the fuck is Nico $7,600 fucking dollars? I fucking yelled at you yesterday for putting Zyro at 78. Why the fuck is Nico 7,600? Alright, I'm done with my rant. We're playing Nico at 7,600 as a freaking price enforcement.
He may get some fade because of the FaZe.
If Nico's getting faded, I'm going to deposit lots of money and play 100% Nico.
I said some fade, not like, not normal. You know what I'm saying. I can't even think straight with you yelling like this.
It makes for good podcasting.
It sure does.
Unless people have turned us off by now because they're done with me either swearing or yelling in their ears. Sorry. So let's get into the G2 side of things first.
Okay.
Sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off. Let's get to the G2 side of things first because this is a game I want to talk about. I think you and I can approach this actually from different angles, so I want to spend some time on it in all seriousness. Nico 7,600, Modesty the Opera for G2. So Modesty the Opera for G2. We have seen, Dan, and let's just spend a little bit of time on Modesty real quick. We've seen this kid show up massively and take over a game, or do very minimal to help the team out, or he rarely struggles. At least from what I've seen, from the games I've seen of him, I don't think he struggles. I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it. I don't really see him having low games. Like, he's not like that boom bust kind of player. Like, I think he has more consistent games and ceiling games than he does bad games, or games that he struggles in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he's a kid. He's still like
16 or 17 years old.
He's finding his way. Like he's still super good.
But obviously. It's 6,800 in a game where you're going to advance. Like, if we just head over to HLTV real quick, we head over here to overview. We go to the matches. Like, winner of this game is probably going on to the quarters. Yeah, so Group A's winners match. Winner advances to the playoff semifinal, loser goes to the quarters. If I'm G2, I want nothing to do with quarterfinal matches. I want to get to that semifinal spot. Right?
Yeah, I think Mondesi is a great play.
6,800, I think he's a really great play. And honestly, I can see captaining him. I can see going, maybe not as much captain, but definitely having him in your flex. I think he has a ceiling potential in this game. I want to go over the map pool. Because I think maps here selection is going to be really interesting. Both of these teams like that play Dust 2. We're going to see the perma bands come out. FaZe isn't playing Vertigo. G2's not playing Overpass, so those games, cross them out. Now, the interesting thing is what happens with Ancient. We're probably going to get Inferno. So, FaZe has played Inferno the most of any of their maps in the last 3 months. They have a 67% win rate on Inferno with 12 maps played. G2 has a perfect 100% win rate on Inferno. So we're going to see a perma ban of FaZe. We're going to see FaZe perma ban. We're going to see FaZe ban Vertigo. G2 bans Overpass. G2 FaZe is probably going to pick Nuke or Mirage, or, and hear me out on this, Dan.
Inferno, or I mean Ancient.
FaZe picks Ancient.
Why not? G2 doesn't even have any. They don't even have.
FaZe has an 80% win rate in 5 maps on Ancient. Now it's not a map of all the maps played. That's not their permaban. It's their least played map. But if I'm Robin, FaZe Clan's coach, and I'm looking at just stats and maps that G2 struggles on, I would pick into Ancient and not give G2 a chance to ban it in the second round of bans. I would pick Ancient and then just crush G2 on it. Now, if we actually take a look at the stats, we've seen G2 play Astralis back in the, these are all in the Antwerp Major. So we've seen G2 play Astralis. G2 lost 7-16. Astralis is a good Ancient team. We've seen that. They've been picking into it a lot lately. G2 versus Ents went to overtime, and G2 lost to Ents 16-19. So Ents won 19-16. And then we saw G2 play against Furier on Ancient. Lost 16-11. They struggle on both sides, under a 50% win percent on both sides, and this is a CT-sided map. I'm really interested to get your take, Dan. Do you think FaZe picks into Ancient in their first pick?
1,000%.
Because you could also go and pick into Nuke. You could pick into Mirage. Now, with all due respect, both of these teams like to play Mirage. It wouldn't surprise me if we got FaZe picked Mirage, G2 picks Inferno, and Dust 2 is a decider.
So I think FaZe will pick first. So I think if they do pick Ancient and flex the punish pick, then what could be the punish pick?
Ancient's the punish pick. But the problem is you can't let it. If Ancient gets by the picks, I think G2 looks at that and goes, we'd rather take our chances on Nuke or Dust 2 or Mirage or whatever they're not picking and just vetoing Ancient.
So they could float Overpass, which I don't think that they would do because
Overpass G2 permabans.
No, I know. So FaZe bans first, G2 bans second. FaZe picks
however
first.
The bans go, right?
It's a higher ranked team. So then FaZe picks Ancient,
and
then G2 you'd assume that they would pick Inferno, but that's FaZe's favorite map, and they're really freaking good on it. But
G2's also undefeated on it.
Yeah, so I think I agree. And then what's left over? Maybe Dust 2.
I could see Dust 2 being left over. Honestly, I really just outright don't want to see these teams play Mirage. I think if they play Mirage, it becomes an absolute slugfest. Both of these teams are good on Mirage. They're really not great. And I wouldn't want to risk a semifinal spot over a map that both teams are good at. I'd be looking for advantages somehow on maps.
I think this is a Nico ceiling day.
It's possible. It really is. Even if we get Ancient.
Did you see some of the Deagle headshots today? Like he literally won that. I mean, he almost won Dust 2, but he won Mirage almost single-handedly with the Deagle.
Did he?
there was just a couple of rounds where it was like, how the? Because there was a couple of eco rounds that they lost because of Nico. I mean, GT won, and then Mondesi had a crazy clutch, and I don't think it was just too much. When they were on their CT side, when Vitality was on the CT side, like they just couldn't recover. So I mean, he's in top shape, and I think because yesterday I had said that they were maybe there was some tension amongst the team, but I think it was actually just focus. So they just seemed really, really focused. And Jax, like what is that? Like Jax is going crazy right now. So if that happens again, I mean, they could blow.
If Jack somehow pulls off another ceiling day like that, or even has a great map like he did, I think it was Mirage, where he was just going absolutely nuts.
Yeah, he just needs that.
You're gonna probably need Jax on your lap. Even if Jack scores 50 points, his performance and bonus stats could get you near 60, and that might be enough to pay off to get another high price guy.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. I certainly like G2, especially, I mean, for many reasons. But at his phase, it's not like it's going to be a stomp where three guys score like super high. Or not super high, but like have really high floors.
Yeah. So, all right. So, excuse me 1 second as we get started. And I think I'm probably going to introduce this later. We might have a new segment on the podcast, Mr. Dan. And no, it's not Underdog Fantasy. I accidentally misclicked.
Okay.
We might have a new segment with the new esports platform, ladies and gentlemen. More on that soon to come, as I just got the heads up that the contests were posted. So I'm going to be able to go ahead. If we have enough time at the end of this podcast, I might actually try loading them up. But in the meantime, Dan, we've had enough talking about Modesty, the map pools, and how we think these things can go, right? Again, there were just times I didn't even want to go that much into depth. I was just kind of winging it, to be honest with you, because of any of the games, this is the marquee matchup. Of any of the games, this is the marquee matchup.
Yeah, for Counter-Strike purposes, but for DFS, it's kind of scary.
Oh, again, agreed. So, like, this game could turn into, like, what we were talking about yesterday, Big versus Ents. If that game went just, everyone was going, medium and no one was getting a high ceiling, no one was going to be optimal, right? Like, again, you just have those powerhouse hitting teams, but we have multiple players on here. Nico, Brokey, Rops, Mondesi. That's just the top four. You still have Twist and Hunter who could have big games. Jax who could have somewhere in their average but have enough points to pay off at $5,400. There are so many different ways in this game that I don't think we could have got to like an Ents versus Big. This, I think, is a completely different level. And you can tell me if I'm wrong there.
No, I think, it provides a lot of opportunity.
Agreed.
And there's going to be people on phase that I think people stay away just because of pricing. That like Rops. Like Rops is, in my opinion, one of the is incredible. It's not that he struggles. He just doesn't always have to show up. But when he does,
Rops is one of the best GPP plays on this slate because of the matchup, because of all the powerhouses. Like you just said, he doesn't have to show up, but he can show up. If he takes over the server, you're going to need him. He could have a meagering day. I think from a GPP standpoint, he's the biggest or one of the best GPP plays on this slate. He's only 8,400.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could go Nico Rops tomorrow and be just fine because it just makes for it just seems like it's going to be close and a couple of people are going to go off. It just feels that way.
All right, so in all seriousness, I'm not swearing at DraftKings.
Okay.
Nico, $7,600 is an absolute great play. Now, we've talked about Nico, we've talked about Rops, we've talked about Mondesi. We typically go team by team, but what are you doing with these guys? And I want to group them. Brokey for you in play? Just get that out of the way with.
Not so much, but
Really? Okay. I need to hear this. Tell me why. I kind of thought Brokey $1,900, the opera for phase. I kind of just thought, okay, you know,
well,
kind of in
I
play.
mean,
Kind of obvious.
I think that I don't know. I don't have a I don't have a. It's more of a gut feeling. Like I just
Dude, clout. Gut feeling is fine. So
so
yeah, so like let's.
I like the opposite. I like the other side better. I like the G2 side. Um, you know, Brokey's so good though. I'm just looking up his stats on Ancient and Inferno, and he's like the man is amazing on Inferno. Like I don't know if you've watched him hold the what is it mid when he tucks into that little corner and I've seen him get aces from that little corner, and the flicks that you know he's doing are pretty
Brokey.
incredible. Yeah, like
Bro-
it's not supposed to be an up map, but he goes combat up and just wrecks.
Brokey is amazing. So,
Yeah,
all right.
I don't know. It's tough. Like
Hey, if you have the gut feeling Brokey doesn't pay off, please, by all means, that's totally fine. I mean, I've had how many gut calls on this podcast that I say just gut feeling they could or couldn't go off, right? Like that's totally fine.
I just
So,
like yeah, my gut goes to Rob's.
right, and I mean, like sometimes you have to go with that gut feeling, right? Like
Yeah.
just don't second guess it. Now, I'm gonna ask you about a group of guys. It's from both teams. I'm gonna group them. Tell me, are you playing them? Are you not playing them? And if you have a favorite, who? And if you want to order them, that's fine. Rain, Twists, Hunter. That group, Rain, Twists, and Hunter. What are you doing with these three?
I like Rain more than Twists. And Hunter. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Hunter's like on. He's locked in, man. Like I watched him today, and he's really freaking good. I'm looking up his stats on just so I have something to hang my hat on. But
Mm-hmm.
so Hunter on. Well, we know that he's good on Inferno, but on Ancient, which we do think that FaZe will pick, 1.21 with a 1 point. So his impact rating is actually higher than his overall rating, which for me is a good sign for the rest of the team as well. In the last 3 months, it's a 1.25 with a 1.3 impact rating. So Hunter's firmly in play, in my mind.
So you did. Okay, so Hunter's in play for you. Rank
No
them.
twist.
No twists. All right, so for you, it's between Hunter and Rain. If you had to pick between Hunter and Rain, and like let's just say you have the money for both, who is going in your lineup? Let's say it's your last spot in.
Hunter.
Okay, I like it. I see. I would agree with that. Kerrigan, Jackson, Alexi B. Again, we've talked about Jax. He
Oh,
can do
Jack.
really well. Kerrigan, Alexi B. This particular matchup, and how heavy hitting it's going to be. Of the
No.
two, I prefer Kerrigan, but I really don't want to play either. But I think Kerrigan could have the same kind of day Snappy had today. Enough to really make it relevant, but maybe not have a ceiling.
Yeah, no Kerrigan.
All right. Anything
Um,
else from this particular game that you want to talk about? Because we've talked about this game at length.
I think you got to pick two guys, and it doesn't matter what team they're on that you think are gonna have a ceiling day and go with it.
Excellent. All right, so before we get into our next game here, I want to take a moment to remind everyone you can follow us on Twitter at AdamWX21. At WanDelch, WANDLCH, and at AdamWX21. Follow the podcast on Twitter. Yeah. Follow the podcast on Twitter at CSGO Clutch Pod. Getting tongue tied over here, Mr. Dan. And then, yeah, drop a like on this video. Drop a like over here on this video. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. That way that you all know every single time one of these podcasts drop, especially with these blast slates, with them starting so early in the morning. Definitely want to try getting advantage of that in advance. And leave a comment down below. Tell us who you like and who you don't like. Um, tell us, is there something you want to see in the podcast? Do you want to hear us talk about something else? Maybe you want us to go into more stats? Do you want us to talk about more map pool? Do you want us to maybe go over a map and explain different, if you're new to Counter-Strike, like if you're playing Ancient, well, what the F is Donut? Like, do you want us to go over some callouts and spots and stuff like that? Like, give us some feedback down below in the comments. Dan, anything else before we get into these last two games?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's get into it. We're at a half hour here on the podcast. And no, I apologize if we took a lot of time with that G2 phase game. I personally think it's the key to the slate.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure we spent enough time talking about that one. So, all right. Well, another interesting game here, Dan, is Big versus Navi. Big with almost an amazing comeback today versus Ents. Now they're going up against Navi, arguably a better team than Ents.
Arguably.
Okay, a better team than Ents. I mean, well, I should say arguably, because I can make the argument Ents is better than Navi right now. I can make the argument. Here's the interesting thing about Big on this slate, Dan. There's not one player above $7,400. Searson's the most expensive player, and he's $7,400. He's the Opera for Big. Tabson, the IGL for Big, is $6,600. Faven is $6,000. Crimbo, who is confirmed back. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. Keto versus Crimbo, and I had interest in Crimbo if Crimbo was going to play. Crimbo is $5,200. I like that price tag. And I'll let Dan take his victory lap finally on a Tizian ceiling day. The floor is yours, sir. Tizian is $4,400. I remember I had the game on in the background, and I take a quick look over at Tizian's stat line. I text Dan, I'm like, don't you even start what your Tizian takes.
I don't have many takes. I just know that he's got the ceiling. Like he does what he did today, and I've seen him have some insane clutches. And
Tizian, as crazy as this is, and that one major map he had, he was only 47, 8, and 46.
Yeah,
he drops
off quick.
He did have a 1v2 clutch, and he had a 5K. 59 Draftkings points, but not for nothing. He was $5,000. He 10x'd his salary, almost 6x'd it. I know it's not usually an optimal, but if you can get in another higher price player, he's $4,400 today. If he drops 59 at $4,400, he's probably on the winning lineup. Because that means you can now pay up for another one of those big name players and get him in your lineup. I think it's really interesting. What do you think about Big overall today? Or on this particular slate?
I mean, I was willing to play OG, so I don't know why I wouldn't play Big. I mean, they're good. They're a good team. They got good strats. It's on record that Navi is actually a pretty easy team to counter strat because so much of their game revolves around simple. And now they have an IGL that's not actually the IGL that may have a limited playbook. Like, Big makes a lot of sense.
I do also think we have to give Navi a lot of credit, especially Blade, their coach. I mean, just because Boomage isn't there anymore doesn't mean Blade doesn't have a big playbook.
Yeah. I mean,
I do understand your point about counter-stratting them. That makes sense. And with the way the rules are now, the coach can't interact during the game. They can only talk to their team during tac timeouts. That's it. They're only allowed to talk to their team during the game, during tactical timeouts. They're not allowed to give input other than tactical timeouts. Obviously, before the game and after the game is a different story.
So that just supports my point then.
Right, like point in your favor. The only way for Blade to get involved, other than before planning for this match, which him and Electronic are probably already planning for this match.
Yeah, of course.
So, but Blade can't give input unless during one of those tactical timeouts. That's it. Tech timeouts, no one can talk, I believe. So just keep that in mind. So again, to Dan's point, to tell him about a point in Dan's favor, Electronic is the IGL right now. Temporary. I mean, again, you probably have to figure out a way to get another IGL on this team. But again, like who knows what's going on with Simple if he's going to take time off. So we may see a lot of Navi take time off entirely from Counter Strike because Simple and Bit are both from Ukraine. We don't even know if this is affecting Bit at all. So anyway, real world stuff does impact the esports world here and video games and Counter Strike. So big, you're not afraid to play them. Then tell us who you're highest on. I would have to take a wild guess and say Searson and Tabson.
Yeah, I mean, I also like Favin. He's been. I
Okay.
mean, he kind of flies under the radar, but I really have to look at the map pool because that is just how I decide things. So I mean, I'm sure Big will try to get Dust 2, but Navi's really good on Dust 2 as well. So, I mean, Dust 2 Mirage. This could be a Searson
Searson kind of a
Mirage.
day. Also could be a Tabson kind of a day.
Of course, yeah. Tabson's a Dust 2 aficionado. So yeah, I mean, that's or even Simple on the other side. Like he could, it's still Simple. Like despite all of the arguments against that I just made, like we're still talking about a guy that's really freaking good at a video game. And at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's a game, and anything can happen. So maybe people are scared enough, and then so to support the DFS play, maybe people are scared enough of the Navi day from today, losing to OG, that they get off Simple, which even if it's 5 or 10%, that might be enough to get enough leverage to win something, you know.
I think
Um,
this is a massive bit day. Tell me what. I didn't mean to cut you off, but just I'm thinking about it. I think this is a massive bit day. Talk to us. Finish your point, and I want to hear your thoughts about bit.
no, that was perfect timing. Really, I was starting to ramble. So, yeah, Bit's amazing. Like, um, yeah, if that's a gut call, then that's what it is.
Doesn't
I
this
think
just
there's
seem like setup wise, just the way big plays? Like they're so, you kind of said yes on yesterday's podcast. They play so well. Like they're always that just like really good team that has really good to great maps. I just think this is the kind of game Bit is going to smash.
so last 3 months, Dust 2 and Mirage Bit has a 1.28 rating with a 1.39 impact rating. I mean, and like the kills are going to be the frags are going to be concentrated on Simple and Bit if they do win. So yeah, I mean, Bit captain, why not?
Yeah.
I
So
almost like it better than Nico because there is some risk with Nico and captain. It seems less risky with Bit because it is not like the whole big analysis is really contingent on an upset. You know, because
yeah, I
they're
mean
not.
I can see Big maybe taking a map,
Yeah,
maybe, but like I think
the
I think Navi still wins this game.
yeah. I think so too. OG was kind of. I mean, OG was kind of a one off, not one off, but anomaly. I think because Nexus really freaking good. Like
He proves
he,
it today.
he's a super smart IGL. He can frag. Like uh, you know, it just the recipe was there. The more I think about it, I don't think the recipe is there for big.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
individual
they can
skill.
definitely pull off an upset for sure, especially with Gob B back as coach for Big. So Gob B is one of like I don't know if legendary is the right word, but definitely one of Germany's best Counter Strike players.
Yeah,
And now reunite now coming back as coach, getting to work with Tabson. So like this team, I think has a high ceiling long term because when you get guys like Gob B and Tabson planning strats and trying to figure things out, the more Faven gets more exposure to tier one and the more Crimbo gets more exposure to tier one, I think this team can take the leap to top five and maybe even take a chance to win some tournaments. So I just don't think they're at that point yet. So I think Navi wins this game, and I think, for me, I think this is a massive bit ceiling day.
I think I agree.
All right.
So yeah, let's go.
Let's
Move
get on to it. Anything else from this game, Dan?
No?
All right. Last game on the slate is Ents versus OG. And surprise, surprise, Spinks is really expensive. $9,800 for Spinks. And I know we talk about Simple, but Simple's a good play.
Yeah.
So Spinks 9,800, D-Haws 8,800, Hades the Opera for Ents is 7,800, Madden 7,000, and Snappy the IGL is 6,000. OG Dexter criminally underpriced at 7,000 for the way he played today. Neofrag 6,400, Fiku 5,600, Flames not getting any effing respect whatsoever, and neither's Nexa. Flames is 5,000, and Nexa the IGL for OG is 4,200. Did I miss something from what I watched today versus Navi?
Apparently.
Or did the Draftkings the pricing algorithm miss something from the game it probably didn't watch?
Yeah, I think it's just a lag.
I don't get it. Like, all right, let's talk about Ents before we get into OG.
Okay.
Spinks, D-Ha, Hades, and Madden, and even Snappy. I think all 5 of these guys are in play. OG had a great upset against Navi. Ents are the better team.
Yep.
Spinks is my favorite play, followed by Hades, and then Madden, Snappy, and D-Ha. In that order. I'm not as high on Ents today as I was yesterday.
Agreed. Well, I don't know.
I think this could sneakily go to 3 maps. Sneakily.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think OG picked Ancient today, right? I don't know. Actually, I don't really
One of them picked Ancient, and I was worried about OG at the start of that map. And oh boy, they showed up big.
Yeah, Spinks is a lock.
The question is you just got to afford him.
Yeah, he's gonna be highly unplayed, which
means you probably should try fitting him in and playing him.
Yeah, with the land buff in action.
You also could one-off him. If you're going 3-2-1 or 2-2-1-1, he should be one of your ones, in my opinion.
I think D-Ha's a good play too. They're hyping him up. He's got a 1.14 rating on Ancient and Nuke. Nothing to laugh at. But I can't see his price. Do you know his price?
Who are we talking about?
D-Ha.
D-Ha is 8,800.
Ooh. Oh, he's gonna be like 0 owned. It's risky. It's a GPP play for sure, but probably will. I mean, if he goes off, it's gonna win you something.
That's why a lot of these top 3 guys from Ents I think are really in play. I think Madden's in a really good spot today. Snappy, again, 6,000 can pay off here. OG aren't massively difficult on defense, so Snappy can get frags. Let's talk about OG for a second. Dexter and Neofrag, I think, are my 2 favorite from this teams. Neofrag, my favorite player from OG today.
Yeah, he was going off.
So he won that. So for those of you that don't know, Neofrag came from Sinners. Biku came from AGO. Or Ago. Yeah. I think that's where Fiku came from.
Yeah, it's XCOM AGO.
XCOM AGO, okay. Excuse me. I just call him Ago.
Yeah.
So, alright. Those are my 2 players from OG. I think Flames and Nexa open up a lot for your lineups, but I think they're more mass multi-entry plays than they are single entry plays.
Dude, Flames has dropped off big time. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, he was so good for so long.
Think of how long it's been since he's had actual official games with OG.
Yeah, it has been a while.
And that roster has had turnover.
You could say that.
So again, this is kind of the same thing we saw with JKX with Complexity. Never had a chance to get in a role because there was roster turnover.
Yeah. Kind of feel bad for JKS. Where is he now?
I don't know. I don't know how he's not on a team.
I think he was going to go back to Renegades, but then Renegades got bought out by Order. He might not even be playing.
I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. I mean, someone sign him. Dexter is an absolute madman the way he was playing today.
Oh yeah, Dexter's super
Dexter, someone sign this man. All right, shall we? Let's get into, unless there's something else that you want to do.
No.
All right. So, anything else you want to talk about from this game?
No.
All right.
Good.
Let's get it. Let's get into it. Core value, GPP, and favorite team stack segment. Dan, we're gonna do the same thing we did yesterday. 1 core, 2 value, 2 GPP, and favorite team stack. Who do you got?
Core is our friend Zaiwu.
His name is
Zaiwi.
There it is. Zaiwi. All right.
Value is Nexa.
Yep, love that pick. Nexa, $4,200, the second cheapest player on the slate.
It's ridiculous.
Unbelievable. So, for everyone to know, value we're considering typically under 7,000, or we try to keep it in that mid six. Yeah, anything under 7, but we try to give you some good cheapy plays too. One more, Dan.
GPP would be
One more value. One more value.
Oh, one more value. I'm sorry.
Very good.
Big Zera.
All right, 2 GPP plays.
Diha and Searson.
Diriar and Searson, and your favorite team stack today?
Vitality.
I like it. Core play for me is Bit.
Oh.
Value. Faven.
Like it.
Crimbo. They go up to 2 big guys for value. GPP plays Neofrag. And I talked about a GPP player. Now it's totally escaped me. I said was the definition of a GPP play today. Help me out here, Dan.
Definition of
I'm like looking at them like, who did I say was the definition of a GPP play today?
Was it seriously?
Rops. It was Rops. 8,400. My favorite stack is G2.
Wow, that's risky. That's ballsy.
I can call it my favorite GPP stack if you want.
Yeah, I think you should.
All right, favorite GPP stack is G2. Anything else?
Prize picks.
Yes, sir. Let's load up the prize picks.
I wish I could remember what my. Oh, we took the simple under, so that was a good one.
We have some really interesting lines here, Dan.
Yep.
Really interesting lines. Had Zio, 28.5. Nithon, 29.5.
Slam it.
Neeks, 28.5.
Serious? That is so low.
I kind of think from a prize pick standpoint, Had Zio and Nithon, I think the fact that they're not even getting enough respect at least 30. I know it's Team Vitality, but I think Team Vitality can struggle a little bit. I don't think these are absolute stompage of maps. I would take the over on both.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Kind of crazy. Here's another weird one. Apex, 33.5.
Yeah, you gotta take that one too.
Take the over on that one. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that stands out.
Everything else is kind of tight. Or tier 2 stuff. So I don't know if you've heard of Kragan, but that's actually pretty low for versus Trick.
Trick has Lucky back now.
Yeah, it's kind of a trap.
Oh my goodness. Rain 34.5.
Yeah, that's easy.
That's over.
Any unders? Like,
I mean, I'm trying to look for some unders. It's just Crucial's at 33.5 over.
Nothing feels too high.
Right. I don't see anything that's like sticking out to me under. I mean, Electronic 38.5.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
I'd be okay with going under. Simple 43.5. You're going to have to make a decision on that line. Bit 37.5. I take the over.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any of these other ones, Danny, they're standing out? I feel like there are just a lot of low lines today.
Yeah, very low.
I think this is a day where I'm going to be playing a lot of prize picks.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we got a good day, folks. We got a really good day. I mean, we're just honestly, ladies and gentlemen, we're just looking for something like to give you some unders, other than just keep giving you overs. Like these lines are low. Fine with us. We'll take advantage of it. Dan, anything else to talk about? Any other prize picks you want to talk about before we head on out of here?
I'm good. Let's call it.
Let's call it. All right. Speaking of Counter-Strike, I'm going to play some Counter-Strike. So for Dan, I'm Adam. Good luck on this slate. We'll catch you tomorrow for the Blast Premier quarterfinal slate. Latest, peoples.